Are you in pain? Then meet the doctor. Neck pain, headaches? Meet the doctor. Low back and leg pain? Meet the doctor. Arm, shoulder, and hand pain? Carpal tunnel syndrome? Meet the doctor. Injured in an auto accident? Meet Dr. James Bissland at Bissland Chiropractic, where you can get your first visit free this month. Call Bissland Chiropractic at 838-4252. Bissland Chiropractic.
Where were you when the lights went out? Who did you call and when you gave them a shout? Did they pick up the phone? Did you get a machine? Or some front office drone? You know what I mean. You wanna talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. So call Marie now. Electricians with a mission will get you connected. We're Murray Electric.
Hi, this is Larry Murray with Murray Electric. We appreciate your business and we don't take you for granted. While nobody likes to have electrical problems, we want you to know that we will be here for you when you do need an electrician. And remember, you don't get phone shuffle when you call Murray Electric, because we have a real live electrician that answers the telephone. Remember, if you're in a hurry, call Murray, 918-835-9605. 918-835-9605.
We'll get you connected. We're Murray Electric.
Hello and welcome to the September edition of Health and Information. I'm Dr. James Bissland with Bissland Chiropractic in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we're real excited this month because September is the month in which chiropractic was discovered and the original discovery made in Davenport, Iowa. And we're going to talk a little bit about that this program. We also have at the end of the program a very special guest that is going to be with us. I had the pleasure to interview, kind of an impromptu interview with Dr. Richard Yennie here about a week or so ago, and he's got some really interesting things that he's going to talk about. So we're going to play that interview there as we go at the end of the program today. And in the meantime, I want to talk to you about the discovery of chiropractic, because without that, we wouldn't be here. The rumor has it, or the history has it, that on September 16th of 1895, in his fourth floor office building in downtown Davenport, Iowa, D.D. Palmer, who was a magnetic healer, was doing some research on healing and health and magnetism and magnetics, using magnets for healing and so forth. And the janitor who worked in the building, his name was Harvey Lillard, had come into the office, and Mr. Lillard had been deaf for 17 years. When asked about it, he stated that he bent over to scrub with his brush one day. He heard a pop and his hearing was gone. So with the evaluation and obviously minimal examination, Dr. Palmer found a spot on his back that was out of alignment and put it back into alignment, and hearing returned almost immediately. And he was pretty amazed at that. Mr. Lillard was just totally thrilled, obviously, that he had his hearing back, but Dr. Palmer was equally thrilled because it gave him a result to his theory about the pinched nerve and the interference. Now, obviously that was a real unscientific beginning to our profession, but just about everything in the world that's ever happened has done unscientifically or by accident. And there's a lot of failures usually involved in the initial evaluation and the initial trials of things. I don't know how many times Thomas Edison failed before he actually got the light bulb to work. And we're all really thankful that he proceeded to keep trying, even with all the failures that he had, in order to achieve the result that he was looking for, which obviously was to create the light bulb. Dr. Palmer did more research and was creating more health, more miracles, as he was calling them back in the time in Davenport, and he began teaching other people what he had learned and what he had discovered. And hence the Palmer School of Chiropractic began in 1895 on a hilly street in Davenport, Iowa called Brady Street, where, by the way, it still stands today. 1895, that was a long time ago. Ever since then, we've had tremendous amounts of research, and the philosophy of chiropractic was followed up with Dr. Dede's research. His son, Dr. B.J. Palmer, who is basically known as the philosopher of chiropractic, developed the theories and tested them on patients in the college or in the school clinic called the BJ Clinic at that point in Davenport. And B.J. Palmer was kind of an eccentric man. I remember there was a seminar back in the late 70s, a Parker seminar, where Governor Ronald Reagan, from at that time the governor of California, was a speaker. And Mr. Reagan had often talked about working at the radio station that B.J. Palmer owned in Des Moines, Iowa, WHO Radio. So B.J. really took care of just about everything. He had even a psychiatric hospital that he treated patients with chiropractic. And B.J. was known as the philosopher. He was dedicated to the philosophy of chiropractic and the healing from the top to the bottom, from the inside out, the subluxation, the pinched nerve, the irritation to the nerve themselves. But chiropractic really didn't gain a whole lot of acceptance in those early years because there was really not a lot of education. Early chiropractors were actually thrown in jail for practicing chiropractic. Early chiropractors didn't go to school very long compared to their medical counterparts. And BJ's son took over the school when BJ passed away. His name was Dr. David Palmer. And Dr. David Palmer is considered the educator, the chiropractic educator. He brought the college up to standards. He changed the name from the Palmer School of Chiropractic to the Palmer College of Chiropractic. He brought in a curriculum that taught chiropractors the same courses that the medical doctors were taking. We had to have anatomy and physiology and biochemistry and physics and just a tremendous amount of other courses. As time went on, Dr. Dave Palmer required that students coming into the chiropractic college had to have a 2-year or 60 credit hours of college prior to their admission to chiropractic college. Finally, it's now up to the point where you have to have a bachelor's degree to apply to the chiropractic colleges and universities around the country and around the world today. And we think that that's thanks to the chiropractic educator, Dr. David Palmer. Now, if you go to the Palmer University campus, the Palmer College of Chiropractic campus in Davenport, you'll see a lot of buildings that are just still dedicated to the Palmer family. There's the David D. Palmer Library. There's BJ's original home, and you can take tours of that. We're going to take a break for just a minute, and we will be back in just a few minutes and continue with our program.
Where were you when the lights went out? Who did you call and when you gave them a shout? Did they pick up the phone? Did you get a machine? Or some front office drone? You know what I mean. You want to talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. So call Marie now. Electricians with a mission will get you connected. We're Murray Electric.
Hi, this is Larry Murray with Murray Electric. We appreciate your business and we don't take you for granted. While nobody likes to have electrical problems, we want you to know that we will be here for you when you do need an electrician. And remember, you don't get phone shuffle when you call Murray Electric, because we have a real live electrician that answers the telephone. Remember, if you're in a hurry, call Murray, 918-835-9605. 918-835-9605.
We'll get
Are you in pain? Then meet the doctor. Neck pain, headaches? Meet the doctor. Low back and leg pain? Meet the doctor. Arm, shoulder, and hand pain? Carpal tunnel syndrome? Meet the doctor. Injured in an auto accident? Meet Dr. James Bissland at Bissland Chiropractic, where you can get your first visit free this month. Call Bissland Chiropractic at 838-4252. Bissland Chiropractic.
Okay, welcome back to September's Health and Information. Before the break, we were talking about the Dr. D.D. Palmer and the discovery of chiropractic, and we were talking about his son, B.J. Palmer, the philosopher, Dr. Dave Palmer, who was the educator. Now, most of the leaders of chiropractic over the years, I've really had a privilege of being able to meet most of the big ones and really get to know some of them on a more personal level. I barely remember meeting B.J. Palmer when Mom took my sister and I up to pick Dad up or walk him home from school when he was going to Palmer in the early 60s. I remember walking beside, my sister was in the stroller, and I remember walking beside Mom, and she was pushing the stroller up the sidewalk, and this guy came out, long hair and a beard, and he reached down and picked my sister up out of the stroller. And as he was holding our sister and talking to her, he turned to my mom, who had this really kind of scared look on her face, and he says, "Hi, my name's B.J. Palmer." So that's my only encounter with B.J., because he died shortly thereafter. I knew Dr. Dave Palmer. Actually, he was president of Palmer College when I began originally. His successor was a gentleman named Dr. Jerry McAndrews, who was the past president of the International Chiropractic Association based in Washington, D.C. And him and my father were incredibly good friends all through their professional careers. And Dr. McAndrews and my father were the two who presented me my diploma when I graduated from Palmer in October of 1985. So I've been in practice for 26 years now. Seems like a long time ago. In that time, though, I've also met some of the additional great leaders of our profession. I've met and gotten to know pretty well Dr. Carl Cleveland, who is the founder and president of the Cleveland Chiropractic College in Kansas City, and then he also had one in Los Angeles. I've gotten to know the president of several of the other colleges. My father and Dr. Jim Parker were very good friends, and I became a close friend with Dr. Carl Parker and his family seminars after the passing of Dr. Jim Parker. I also had the opportunity to take training from both Dr. Jim Parker, Dr. Carl Parker, but also from two people who really put this profession way ahead of where it probably would be now, and that was Dr. Gordon Hoisier and Dr. Rolla Pinnell. They ran for many years a chiropractic practice management, and we learned a tremendous amount of information that enhanced chiropractic, such as acupuncture and the use of a lot of the therapy modalities that we now use in the practice today. Before we go to the next break, we are going to have a little bit of trivia. And here's how trivia is going to work. We are going to have a drawing of everybody who sends the email, and on the screen you'll see our email address and the question here up above my right shoulder. You'll see the trivia question. And this month's trivia question is, how many spinal vertebrae are in the spinal column? If you know the answer to that question, or you want to look it up on Google, or you want to look it up on any search engine or in a book, you want to email it to drjames@bissland.com, and you'll see the email address as well as the trivia question up here on the screen. Everybody who gets that right between now and the end of September, we'll have a drawing, and we're going to be giving away a pair of custom-made orthotics from Foot Levelers as the prize for this month's trivia. When we come back, we're going to have our interview with Dr. Richard Yennie, and we'll be right back right after this.
Where were you when the lights went out? Who did you call and when you gave them a shout? Did they pick up the phone? Did you get a machine? Or some front office drone? You know what I mean. You wanna talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. So call Marie now. Electricians with a mission will get you connected. We're Marie Electric.
Hi, this is Larry Murray with Murray Electric. We appreciate your business and we don't take you for granted. While nobody likes to have electrical problems, we want you to know that we will be here for you when you do need an electrician. And remember, you don't get phone shuffle when you call Murray Electric, because we have a real live electrician that answers the telephone. Remember, if you're in a hurry, call Murray, 918-835-9605. 918-835-9605.
We'll get you connected. We're Marie Electric.
Are you in pain? Then meet the doctor. Neck pain, headaches? Meet the doctor. Low back and leg pain? Meet the doctor. Arm, shoulder, and hand pain? Carpal tunnel syndrome? Meet the doctor. Injured in an auto accident? Meet Dr. James Bissland at Bissland Chiropractic, where you can get your first visit free this month. Call Bissland Chiropractic at 838-4252. Bissland Chiropractic.
Welcome back. Our theme this month is the discovery and the leaders of chiropractic. And in just a few minutes, we're going to have a very impromptu interview with one of the leaders of our profession. And before we get to that, I want to kind of bring everybody up to where this all started. Back in the late 60s, the two doctors that I was just talking about, Dr. Gordon Hoyser and Dr. Rolla Pinnell, decided that chiropractors needed to be the acupuncture experts in the United States. And they started bringing in instructors, and they went to China and they went to Japan. They traveled all around learning acupuncture and started teaching it. And then they started recruiting other people to teach it. In the early 70s, my father, Dr. J.R. Bissland, Dr. Richard Yennie, Dr. Eric Tao, and Dr. Logan McKenzie were basically the four instructors in the United States who taught the 100-hour certification course for acupuncture certification through, at that time, it was the Columbia Institute of Chiropractic. And this went on for several years until other colleges got into it, and then some of the students of the original four then became instructors, and there's plenty of them now all over the United States. I think there's about a little more than 50% of the chiropractors in the United States are using some sort of meridian therapy, acupuncture, meridian balancing, auriculotherapy, which basically is the acupuncture points in the ear, which is another whole topic. About a week and a half ago, we had an opportunity at a seminar in Kansas City to have Dr. Richard Yennie, one of the original instructors in chiropractic acupuncture, was a speaker, and we had the opportunity to get reacquainted with him and his staff and chat with him. It's been a long time since we've really talked with Dr. Yennie very much. You know, the 70s was a long time ago. And I asked him if, before he ran off to the sushi bar, I asked him if he would do a short interview and just kind of give us a little bit of insight from his perspective with all the years he's been in chiropractic and in acupuncture. Dr. Yennie still practices chiropractic on a regular basis at his office in Kansas City. He still teaches acupuncture seminars and the 100, 200, and 300-hour now certification courses in the meridian therapy, acupuncture, auriculotherapy realm. Dr. Yennie is now 83 years old and a pretty substantial man, still has a lot of knowledge to give. His students are enlightened. He speaks fluent Japanese, and I believe it's 5 variations of the Chinese language. And it's just a really enlightening experience to get to spend time with Dr. Yennie. And so I thought we'd give everybody kind of a little sample of what he does here. And he was so gracious to take about 7 or 8 minutes and kind of enlighten us with his philosophy. And so we're going to have that as our closing of the program today. Remember the trivia. Answer the trivia question. Email it to drjames@bissland.com. All the people who get it right will be put into a drawing, and we're going to have a custom-made orthotics for our winner this month. And I will see everybody in the October show. And now, here's my interview with Dr.
Today we have a
Yennie.
special guest with us that I've known for at least 35 years. Him and my father worked together in the field of acupuncture for many years, and we have asked him to come on with us this afternoon and kind of give us some insight. I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Dr. Richard Yennie. Dr. Yennie, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And I'm going to give you the microphone, and you know what to do with it.
Okay. Do you want to start with asking me questions?
Nope.
All right. Well, we're here at this meeting today. Impromptu, which is always the best. Fresh and natural and real. We're discussing the connection between chiropractic and Chinese healing of acupuncture. Well, first, it's important, if you were in China, if you get a chiropractic adjustment called toina in China, you also get stimulation of skin points, which is acupuncture. There are different ways of stimulating these skin points, from touch to pressure to massage to percussion. Typically, of course, in an acupuncture setting, the doctor would use either needles, small needles that don't hurt at all, or electrical. And electrical has become the treatment method of choice. It's more effective. There are no needles involved, and the results come faster. The Chinese healing for 5,000 years has been concerned with, number one, stimulation of these skin points to relieve pain and promote healing with every organ, every gland, every muscle group in the body. The second aspect of Chinese healing deals with manipulation, especially of the spine, as we have in chiropractic. And the purpose of that is to relieve pressure from the nerves. Because if a vertebra is out of line, if it's pinching a nerve, not only can that cause pain locally, but wherever that nerve goes can become involved. So at the spine, if there's pressure on the heart nerve, that can lead to heart trouble, or stomach, or spleen, or pancreas, any part of the body. So chiropractic care is not only a great way to regain your health, but it's also a great way to maintain and keep your health once you're back to health again. The third aspect is nutrition, especially herbs, whereby your doctor, especially your doctor of chiropractic, will discuss lifestyle and the importance of you eating primarily health foods, foods that give health. Coke, pop, etc. doesn't give you health. It might entertain your tongue, but it's not investment in health. So, number one, regarding nutrition, is make most of your food, maybe 3/5, fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. The second category deals with red meat, dairy products, butter, etc., and you should cut those down to a minimum level or cut them out at all. So for meat, instead of a juicy red steak, which is delicious, health-wise, you're better off having wild caught salmon. mackerel, different kinds of fish. The next category of foods deals with the grains, whole grains. So yes, sausage and eggs fried are a delicious breakfast, but it's not that healthy for you. A healthier breakfast would be, for example, granola, oatmeal, flaxseed with a sprinkle of blueberries, for example. And we're all the product of what we eat. We have two forms of energy. One that we got from our parents from birth. The second form of energy we have comes from our lifestyle. So we have a bad lifestyle, we'll have bad energy. Tired all the time, for example. A good lifestyle, you should live to 100 or more. And one way to support that is to get a regular chiropractic adjustment and an acupuncture stimulation if indicated, and it's usually indicated. So, health is the most important item on all the things we humans do. And the interesting thing is, so many people just throw their health away through bad habits, wrong eating, tobacco, smoke, excess alcohol, worried about things that never happen. Today is the day you worried about yesterday, and nothing's happening. So a positive mental attitude, which you can get from positive material reading from your doctor of chiropractic with chiropractic philosophy, and your own church, your faith, is an important part of maintaining your health.
Okay, as we look at the history of acupuncture, history of chiropractic, you know, September is our celebration of Founders Day, and you know, of course, neither of us knew Dee Palmer, but I did get the opportunity to meet B.J. Palmer, and I've known, as you have, a number of the great leaders in our profession, from Jim Parker to Dr. Rolla Pinnell and Gordon Hoyser. And one of the things that we were looking at this month, and the reason that I put the Founders Month in our office together, was that people have lost, including many of our own profession, our own philosophy.
That's true. And it's important to regain that philosophy, because that very philosophy is also therapeutic. What we believe and our philosophical concepts has a lot to do with our mental and physical state, as well as spiritual. So you're right. It's a time for a rebirth of the recognition of the importance of chiropractic care for longevity, for vitality, for all these good things that we treasure.
Okay, well, Richard, thank you for your time. I appreciate you being here, and we look forward to seeing you keep doing what you're doing for a long time. I know in the meeting today you said you were never going to retire. I've had that same question asked of me, and I give them the same answer you do. I'm not going to retire. Everybody that I've seen retire, they don't really stay around very long afterwards. So we're going to stay around. Thank you all for joining us on Health and Information this month. We'll see you next month. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can contact us. Our phone number here on the screen, as well as our webpage and our email address. Have a good, happy, and safe and healthy month. We'll see you next month.